during the session, if you are not able to hear me because of the internet connectivity issue, don't worry, stay connected. I will leave the Teams. I will again join the Teams, right? And I will continue with the sessions whenever I get the internet connectivity. So don't yourself presume that now the lecture is not going to be carry on, right? So ensure that uh, if there is a bandwidth issue, I will stop the broadband connectivity. I will continue with my data mobile plan, right? I will activate the hotspot of the mobile, and then I will again continue with the session. So stay into the team, right? And there is no need to worry about it. Just wait for a few minutes. I will identify the ways, and then we will continue, right? So in the evening section lectures, which is on Microsoft Team, we are going to discuss the unit number 4. So in unit number 4, the material is already with all of you, right? So this is the audit under the uh, fiscal laws. So there are number of statutory laws are there under which the audit is mandatory. So it is talks about the audit under the different laws. So first is audit of a public trust. If a trust is registered, how the audit should be carried out, right? So this is about the requirement of audit section 12A. 12EA is of the Income Tax Act. So ऑडिट अंडर द फिजिकल लॉ के अंदर सेक्शन 1 है. सेक्शन 1 के अंदर ऑडिट अंडर द इनकम टैक्स एक्ट. So under the audit in the income tax is one is about the public trust, audit of public trust. Then a very important section is section 44AB of the Income Tax Act that talks about the tax audit. After tax audit, just see this is all document. Then section B, that is audit under the GST law. Uh, Earlier it was there in the GST law, the audit was mandatory. Now actually they have withdrawn the mandatory requirement of the audit. So we will see how much time is available, and if we have a time, we'll continue with this. Otherwise, we will ignore it because now that completely changed actually. So GST audit, then due diligence and investigation and forensic audit. That is also the topic of unit number 4. So we are taking the overview of the entire unit number 4. So there is a audit under the Income Tax Act, that is trust audit and tax audit. Then there is a GST audit. If the time permits, we will continue it. And the third topic, that is the due diligence, investigation and forensic audit. So first is due diligence. That's we are going to discuss. Right. Then the audit versus investigation. What is the difference between audit and investigation? Section B, that is investigation. So difference and stages of investigation, number of types of investigation. So types of investigation is in your syllabus. Investigation then under the Companies Act 2013, Companies Act 2013 investigations. Then investigation, number types of investigations are going on. General approach of investigations, investigation on behalf of incoming partners, investigation of fraud, means types of fraud. So this is all about the investigation. Then the another topic which is about the peer review and quality control. So peer review means the audit of the auditor. So this topic is also there in TYBCom unit number 4, the last topic, semester 5 actually. But that is in a small portion, the meaning and applicability. Here the meaning, objective and scope of the peer review. So more in detail. applicability of peer review, constitutions, right? Then approach, flow chart, peer review, flow charts, right? Then audit of non-banking financial companies, that is also included. So non-banking financial bank audits we already discussed in the morning in the unit number 3 for the F8 and G5 students, right? Like on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, unit number 3 is going on. So that is the audit of banks, and now it is the audit of non-banking financial institution, means NBFCs. So that is also to be included in your syllabus, and we are going to discuss that. So, this is what is included in your syllabus and compliance with the CARO 2020 requirements. So that is what is the entire syllabus of unit number 4, and that's the topic we have to discuss and complete in the evening sessions. I hope I am audible to all of you, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me see how many students have joined. So now it is 88 students are currently joining, right? Okay, fine. So let's start with the today's session. It is 612. So audit under the fiscal law, that is audit under section and audit of the public trust. So in fiscal law, the first is taken is the Income Tax Act 1961. So Income Tax Act, there are two kinds of audit. There are a number of other audits are also there. Transfer pricing audit is also there, but it is not included because of the time constraint. We cannot learn everything. But here the two laws are and a two audit aspect is covered. That is, one is known as a trust audit, and the another is known as a tax audit. So widely used is tax audit. There are other audits also there. The audit of public trust, requirement of audit, section 12A. The income of trust or institution is allowed exemption, is allowed exemption under section 11 or 12 of the Income Tax Act 1961. To avail the exemption, such trust or institutions are required to satisfy the condition prescribed under section 12A. Right? So all the trusts who registered under the Income Tax Act, if they want their income to be exempt from tax, then it must be a charitable purpose. So there are conditions attached to it under the Income Tax Act that if they satisfy those conditions, then only the registration will be granted. Otherwise, the registration cannot be granted. So in charitable purposes, there are 6 types of activities is included. That means it is a charitable purpose का meaning ये है under section 2 subsection clause 15. Actually there is a in Income Tax Act there is a section 2 which defines the charitable trust. In that there is a clause number 14 which prescribe which trust should be treated as a charitable trust, and if that fall into that category, means education, yoga, sports, right, relief to poor, they all are included in the definition of charitable trust. And if particular trust is involved in that activity, then the registration can be granted under section 12A. Earlier it was 12A, it's way back. Then there is a 12AA, and now recently a new section has been introduced, that is under section 12AB. So I would request you, instead of writing 12A only, you also write 12AA, and after few years there will be only a 12AB. So section 12AB आप एग्जाम में 12AB लिखिएगा क्योंकि अभी नई रिक्वायरमेंट आ चुकी है और मटेरियल थोड़ा पुराना है. On one of the such condition is where the total income of the trust or institution as computed under this act without giving effect to the provisions of section 11 or 12 exceed the maximum amount which is not chargeable to income tax in any previous year, the accounts of the trust or institution for that year have been audited by an accountant. So suppose there is a particular charitable trust is there, and that charitable trust has an income of rupees suppose 2 lakhs. So if that particular trust has a income of rupees, total income of means donation, generally trust को donation मिलते हैं. Let's take a simple example. There is an educational trust. तो जो स्टूडेंट्स है और जो चिल्ड्रन है जिसको पढ़ना है, लेकिन उसके पेरेंट्स अगर उसकी स्टडी का खर्चा अफोर्ड नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो ये ट्रस्ट का काम ऐसा है कि इसके अंदर लोग अपने डोनेशन देंगे और ये ट्रस्ट ऐसे बच्चों को आइडेंटिफाइड करेगा जिनके whose parents would not be able to afford the expenses of their children's for the purpose of study. So in that circumstances, these institutions provide the education to those children at free of cost or maybe at a concessional rate. So that is to be fold under section, but उनकी income कितनी है? 2 लाख ही है. So the amount which is not chargeable to tax, so they does not have the income exceeding the exemption limit. So वहां पे register नहीं करेंगे तो भी tax लगने वाला नहीं है. But suppose that income has a income of suppose 5 lakh of rupees, उनको 5 lakh rupees का donation मिला है. So where the total income, so that total income will be treated as 5 lakh of rupees of the trust or as computed under the act without giving the effect of provision 11 or 12 exceed the maximum amount which is not chargeable to tax in the previous year. तो उनको 5 लाख है और उसकी अमाउंट तो अभी exemption limit is only 2.5 lakh है ना. That exceeds the maximum amount which is not chargeable to tax means the exemption limit. तो अभी income tax के अंदर exemption limit is 2.5 lakh. So obviously, if the trust is a 5 lakh of it is exceeding 2.5 lakh. So in that circumstance, the accounts of the trust or institution for that year have been audited by an account. So फिर उनको अपने books of accounts को audit करवाना पड़ेगा mandatorily. Am I clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Need to understand in considered to be prescribed under section 12A, 12AA or 12AB. AB नया लेटेस्ट सेशन है, मैं उसके बारे में बाद में बात करूंगा अगर जरूरत होगी तो. एग्जाम में सिर्फ इतना लिया. सो अगर accountant here under the income tax act, accountant means the chartered accountant who is holding the certificate of practice. So accountant का meaning under the income tax act होता है chartered accountant, means the member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India holding the certificate of practice. वही audit कर सकता है और कोई नहीं कर सकता. So अगर है तो उसको audit program बनाना पड़ेगा. Preliminary तो obtain the following from the trust. तो trust के पास से पहले ये सारी चीजें acquired करनी है. A copy of resolution from the trust specifying the appointment so as to determine the scope of audit. So मैनेजमेंट के पास अपॉइंटमेंट की टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन को आइडेंटिफाई स्पेसिफाइंग द अपॉइंटमेंट्स. अ लिस्ट ऑफ अकाउंटिंग रिकॉर्ड्स मेंटेन्ड बाय द ट्रस्ट, कौन कौन से अकाउंट्स मेंटेन किए है उसका लिस्ट ले लो. अ सर्टिफाइड कॉपी ऑफ ट्रस्ट डीड, एंटायर ट्रस्ट डीड की कॉपी ले लो. हाउ मेनी ट्रस्टीज आर देयर, व्हाट देयर ऑब्जेक्ट्स, नंबर ऑफ कंडीशंस, रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस ऑफ गवर्निंग द ट्रस्ट. ट्रायल बैलेंस एज एट द एंड ऑफ द अकाउंटिंग पीरियड, जिस पीरियड का ऑडिट हो रहा है उसका जो एंडिंग है उसका ट्रायल बैलेंस. और बैलेंस शीट और प्रॉफिट और लॉस अकाउंट ऑफ द ट्रस्ट ऑथेंटिकेटेड बाय द trustees because trustees are the management, so it should be certified and taken, and then the audit will start. Compliance and substantive checking, and then you have to see the compliances which is done by the trust, or you have to check in detail everything, the substantive checking. Examine the system of accounting and internal control, means how they are recording the transaction, that is the system of accounting, and what are the controls they have set. Vouch the transaction of the trust so as to ensure the following. Transaction falls within the ambit of trust, means trust have power to carry out the transaction, and the transactions are for the purpose for which the trust is exist. Transactions are properly authorized by the trustees or other delegated authorities. So whoever even have given a charge of responsibility, they only should authorize proper accounting of all incomes and expenses on the basis of the system of accounting followed by the trust. So all income and expenses should be recognized. Amount applied towards the object of the trust are covered by the object of the trust as specified in the trust deed. It is must. So whatever the object of the trust, it must be mentioned under the trust deed, and accordingly the trust should work. Check whether the financial statement agrees with the trial balance. So a financial statement should be prepared based on trial balance. There should not be anything new which has not been recorded in the books of account and which will be reflected into the profit or loss account or the balance sheets. So your financial statement must be in agreement with the trial balance. Whether it's a trust audit or normal audit, everywhere it is the requirements. And issuing the audit report. The audit report shall be furnished in form number 10B. And nowadays it is completely online. Electronic form में 10B file करना है. Annexure to form 10B requires a certain information to be provided by the auditor, which needs to be obtained from trustees. Right. So 10B, that is, there are certain information which is required, and that should be obtained. So that is all about the trust audit. Is it clear, बच्चों? समझ में आ रहा है? Simple.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There are ट्रस्ट ऑडिट के अंदर इतना ही आता है. बाकी की बातें जब आप एमकॉम फाइनल में आओगे तब होगी. बट नाउ द टैक्स ऑडिट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. द टैक्स ऑडिट अंडर सेक्शन 44 AB, applicability, किसको एप्लीकेबल है. Nowadays the limit has been increased to a large extent. So if there is any amendment, I will describe to you, and if you have a note and pen, please note it down it. Right? क्योंकि tax audit के अंदर बहुत सारे changes है. Applicability: every person's carrying on a business sell its total sales turnover or gross receipt exceeds 1 crore in any previous year. Right? अगर previous year में exceed हो जाता है turnover in case of business, 1 crore से turn बढ़ जाता है, then the tax audit is applicable, provided that in case of persons whose aggregate of all amount received, including the amount received for sales, turnover, gross received during the previous year, in case does not exceed 5% of the said amount, and the condition is and. So this is 1 and 2. And aggregate of all the payments made, including the amounts incurred for expenditure, in case during the previous year does not exceed 5% of the said payment. This clause shall have an effect as if for the words rupees 1 crore, the word rupees 5 crore would be substituted. तो अगर कोई बिजनेसमैन है, राइट, जो बिजनेस कर रहा है, एवरी पर्सन की डेफिनेशन में इंडिविजुअल भी आ जाता है, ट्रस्ट भी आ जाता है, HUF भी आ जाता है, राइट, फॉर्म भी आ जाती है, कंपनी भी आ जाती है, एवरीवन कम्स, BOI और AOI, राइट, बॉडी ऑफ इंडिविजुअल, आर्टिफिशियल जुडिकल पर्सन, सब, एसोसिएशन ऑफ पर्सन, AOP, BOI, all will come under the definition of person. So if a person is carrying on a business and if the turnover exceeds 1 crore, tax audit will be applicable. But if the same person is carrying on the business and they have a gross receipt in excess of 1 crore, but there in that circumstances, you can see that aggregate of all receipt, aggregate of all amount of receipt, or aggregate of all payments, if both does not exceed 5% of the total receipts or total payment respectively, then instead of 1 crore, it can go up to 5 crore earlier. Now it is 10 crore. तो 10 करोड़ तक अपने बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स को ऑडिट करवाने की जरूरत नहीं है. आई एम अगेन रिपीटिंग, एवरी पर्सन who is carrying on a business, if their total receipts received towards anything does not exceed 5% of the total receipt in cash, and the payment, both the conditions should be met. Payment means for any kind of payment should not exceed 5% of the total payment. In case, then instead of taking into consideration 1 crore, 10 crore should be taken into consideration. And if the turnover exceeds 10 crore, then only the tax audit is applicable. If it is below the 10 crore, no tax audit is applicable. तो मैं आपको एक सिंपल एग्जांपल देता हूं कि एक कंपनी है ए लिमिटेड करके. अगर ए लिमिटेड कंपनी बिजनेस कर रही है और बिजनेस का उनका टर्नओवर मान लेते हैं कि 3 करोड़ है, 3 करोड़ है पूरे साल का, तो एज पर द सेक्शन 144 AD सब सेक्शन 1, एक्चुअली उसके अंदर सब सेक्शन ए है और बी सी डी है ना, ई तक जाता है. तो अगर उनका टर्नओवर 3 करोड़ है तो एक्चुअली एप्लीकेबल हो जाता है टैक्स ऑडिट, बिकॉज द टर्नओवर एक्सीड 1 करोड़. बट अगर ए लिमिटेड जितना भी पेमेंट करती है, ए लिमिटेड उसका टोटल पेमेंट, सपोज के प्रीवियस ईयर के अंदर जो टोटल पेमेंट है ए लिमिटेड का, वो मान लेते हैं हाइपोथेटिकली कि भाई 2 करोड़ उसने पेमेंट किया है, 2 करोड़ का पेमेंट किया है पूरे साल में किसी भी चीज का, चाहे उसने एसेट लिया हो, चाहे एक्सपेंडिचर किया हो, कुछ भी किया हो, हर एक चीज का टोटल पेमेंट है वो 2 करोड़ का है. सो 2 करोड़ का 5% कितना हो जाएगा? 2 करोड़ का 5% मीन्स
10 लाख.
10 lakhs. अगर 10
10
lakhs,
लाख.
यस एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. अगर 10 lakhs का उनका पेमेंट केस, 10 लाख से कम पेमेंट केस के अंदर है, राइट, ये देखना है कि उनका टोटल जो पेमेंट है 2 करोड़ का, उसमें से 2 करोड़ में से उसका 5% अगर 10 लाख होता है तो वो 10 लाख से ज्यादा केस में पेमेंट नहीं होना चाहिए. मीन्स बाई चेक और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मोड से ही पेमेंट होना चाहिए. सेम वे पूरे साल में रिसिप्ट कितनी है? सो इफ द टोटल रिसिप्ट ऑफ द ए लिमिटेड इन द प्रीवियस ईयर बाय बोथ द वे, केस और बैंक, टोटल सपोज के 3 करोड़ है, तो 3 करोड़ का 5% मीन्स 15 लाख. सो अगर 15 लाख की रिसिप्ट से कम रिसिप्ट केस के अंदर है, इन द मोड ऑफ कैश, देन इंस्टेड ऑफ 1 करोड़ दे कैन गो अप टू 10 करोड़. ये 5 करोड़ को आप 10 करोड़ कर दीजिएगा क्योंकि ये आइटम बढ़ चुकी है. तो 10 करोड़ तक आपको टैक्स ऑडिट करवाने की जरूरत नहीं है. बट इफ बोथ ऑफ दिस कंडीशन है ना should be satisfied to have the limit of 10 crore. If one of the condition is valid, if your either the payment is exceed 5% in case or receipt exceed the 5% of case, then the original limit of 1 crore will be applicable. तो ए लिमिटेड है, 3 करोड़ का टर्नओवर है और सपोज के केस पे पेमेंट 5% बढ़ जाता है या रिसीप केस के अंदर 5% से बढ़ जाती है, तो टैक्स ऑडिट एप्लीकेबिलिटी के लिए 1 करोड़ इज द लिमिट. सो हियर इज द 3 करोड़, they are exceeding 1 crore and that's the reason the tax audit will be applicable. समझ में आ रहा है बच्चों?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Second, this is for business. ये exception business के लिए है. B, carrying on business sell, sorry, carrying on profession. Business है, now it is profession. Carrying on profession sell if the gross receipt exceeds 50 lakhs in any previous year. अगर previous year के अंदर gross receipt 50 लाख से बढ़ जाती है तो फिर टैक्स ऑडिट करवाना पड़ेगा. सो डॉक्टर्स है, लॉयर्स है, आर्किटेक्ट्स है, इंजीनियर्स है, ऑल प्रोफेशनल्स है, राइट, like chartered accountants, company secretaries, right, they all are falls into the category of profession. So उनके प्रोफेशन में प्रीवियस ईयर में अगर उनकी रिसिप्ट, ग्रॉस रिसिप्ट्स exceeds 50 lakhs, tax audit is mandatory. तो उनको टैक्स ऑडिट करवाना पड़ेगा. सी, carrying on a business referred to under section 44 AE और 44 BB है ना, exploration of minerals oil, right, and 44 triple B, foreign companies engage in civil construction and claiming a lower income than the prescribed under those section. Those section means 44 AE, 44 A, 44 BB and 44 triple B. तो ये सब, yes, all sections are presumptive taxation. ये ट्रांसपोर्ट है, 44 AE is for the transport. तो जिसके पास ट्रांसपोर्ट का बिजनेस करते हैं, उनके पास कैरेज गुड्स है ना, कैरेज गुड्स के व्हीकल है, व्हीकल फॉर कैरेजिंग द गुड्स फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अनदर प्लेस. तो जिसके पास 10 ना ट्रक से कम है और कैरेज व्हीकल 10 से कम है, तो उसके लिए 44 AE है. 44 BB एक्सप्लोरेशन ऑफ मिनरल ऑयल्स है, और 44 ट्रिपल B फॉरेन कंपनीज एंगेज इन सिविल कंस्ट्रक्शन. तो उनके लिए क्या है कि उनको एक प्रिस्क्राइब्ड रेट पे ऊपर टैक्स बताएं. जैसे यहाँ पे व्हीकल में है कि आप 4,250 पर मंथ पर व्हीकल इनकम दिखा दीजिए, आपकी एक्चुअल इनकम कितनी भी हो आप इतना दिखा दीजिए, उसके ऊपर वो टैक्स भर दीजिए, आपका जो भी बनता है. यू आर नॉट रिक्वायर्ड टू डू अ टैक्स ऑडिट, बट आप उसका बेनिफिट ले. एंड क्लेमिंग द लोअर इनकम, तो उसमें जो प्रिस्क्राइब्ड इनकम है उससे अगर आप लोअर इनकम बुक करते हो तो भी आपको टैक्स ऑडिट एप्लीकेबल हो जाएगा. देन डी, carrying on the profession covered under section 44 ADA and claiming the lower income than the deemed under section 44 ADA and his total income exceed the maximum exempted amount. So profession के अंदर ऐसा है कि as per the clause B 44 section 44 AB है ना, clause B के हिसाब से इन केस ऑफ प्रोफेशन, अगर कोई प्रोफेशन के अंदर प्रोफेशन की ग्रॉस 50 लाख से ज्यादा है तो उनको टैक्स ऑडिट एप्लीकेबल हो जाता है एज पर 44 AB. देयर इज अ सेक्शन 44 ADA, वो ऐसा बताता है कि जिसकी जो भी प्रोफेशनल है, जो प्रोफेशनल फर्म है और जो भी प्रोफेशन अ पर्सन कैरिंग ऑन द प्रोफेशन, अगर उनकी ग्रॉस रिसिप्ट्स है ना 50 लाख से ज्यादा नहीं है, then they can declare the presumptive income. They can declare a presumptive means 50%. In that circumstances, they have to declare the 15%. तो सपोज कि कोई डॉक्टर है और डॉक्टर की रिसिप्ट अगर 60 लाख है ग्रॉस रिसिप्ट, उसको पूरी ग्रॉस रिसिप्ट पूरे साल में 60 लाख मिल रहा है, तो एज पर सेक्शन 44 AB क्लोज B उसको टैक्स ऑडिट एप्लीकेबल हो जाएगा बिकॉज इट इज एक्सीडिंग 50 लाख. बट सपोज के सेम डॉक्टर है, उसकी रिसिप्ट 40 लाख ही है, सो दैट इज नॉट एक्सीडिंग द 50 लाख, बिलो 50 लाख है. तो इन दैट सर्कमस्टेंसेस यू हैव टू ऑप्शंस. ही कैन declare the income as per section 44 ADA. 44 ADA ऐसा बताता है कि जो भी पर्सन है, जो प्रोफेशनल, जिसकी प्रोफेशन से इनकम है, अगर वो अपने इनकम का 50% इनकम डिक्लेयर कर देता है. सो हमारे केस में अगर डॉक्टर है, उसकी पूरे प्रीवियस ईयर में इनकम अगर 40 लाख है और 40 लाख में से अगर वो 50% डिक्लेयर करने के लिए तैयार है, सो दैट इज नॉट 20 लाख, और 20 लाख के ऊपर उसका जो भी टैक्स बनता है वो अगर पेड कर देता है, उसको टैक्स ऑडिट एप्लीकेबल नहीं है. लेकिन उसकी 40 लाख की ग्रॉस रिसिप्ट है और वो बताता है कि नहीं, मेरी इनकम तो 20 लाख नहीं है, राइट, और मेरी इनकम तो सिर्फ 10 लाख ही है और मेरा खर्चा 30 लाख का है. सो ही इज नॉट डिक्लेयरिंग, है ना. So not claiming and claiming the lower income than the deemed. ये deemed है, उसके अंदर वो बताता नहीं है. And his income exceed the maximum exempted और 2.5 लाख से income ज्यादा है. So in that circumstances, that person who is carrying on the profession has to carry out their books of accounts to be tax audited. So they have to carry out the tax audit for their books of accounts. समझ में आ रहा है बच्चों?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. E. Carrying on the business covered under section 44AD and shall not be eligible to claim the benefit of provision of section 44AD due to the applicability of the provisions of subsection 4 of section 44AD and his income exceed the maximum amount which is exempt. Section 44AD is a section which says that a person who is carrying on a business है ना and who has a turnover up to 2 crore, अगर जिसका turnover 2 crore है, right, तो 2 crore है तो उसका 8% और 6% they can declare as income. तो यहाँ पे लिखा ही है, right, यहाँ पे वो लिखा ही है, right. As per section 44AB shall not apply to the person who declares the profits or gains for the previous year in accordance with the provision of section 44AD and his total sales turnover or gross receipt, as the case may be, in the business does not exceed 2 crore in such previous year. Note, where an SSC is a proprietor of more than one person, the aggregate of all businesses to be taken into consideration for the purpose of compliance with the provision of section 44AB. So अगर उसके पास 2-3 बिजनेस चल रहे हैं, अगर एक ही प्रोपराइटर है और वो 2-3 बिजनेस कर रहा है, तो सबका एग्रीगेट करके देखना है. ये लिमिट्स, ये जो भी लिमिट्स है वो आपको एग्रीगेट करके देखनी है. सेक्शन 44AD ऐसा बोलता है, 44AD इज ओनली फॉर बिजनेस. तो अगर जिस कोई पर्सन है जो बिजनेस कैरी ऑन कर रहा है, अगर उनका टर्नओवर अप टू 2 करोड़ है, अगर 2 करोड़ से ज्यादा है तो 44AD इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल, लेकिन 2 करोड़ तक है तो एज पर द सेक्शन 44AD they have to declare 8% if the turnover is in cash or 6% if the turnover is in electronic mode. तो जहां पे केस में सेल्स हो रहा है वहां पे 8% डिक्लेयर कर दो, और जहां पे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मोड से सेल्स हो रहा है वहां पे आप let me open an Excel sheet so all of you would be able to understand, otherwise मुझे लगता है थोड़ा difficult रहेगा. So suppose this is 44AD, दिख रहा है बच्चों?
No, sir.
Excel sheet,
No, sir.
Excel sheet दिख रही है? नहीं दिख रही?
नहीं सर.
ओके, ये पीडीएफ दिख रही है?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
पीडीएफ दिख रही है लेकिन एक्सेल नहीं दिख रही है.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Fine. Give me a 1 minute. I am stop sharing. मैं थोड़ा sharing को बंद कर रहा हूँ, and then I will again activate the sharings. So I stop sharing the screen. I think now you would not be able to see the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let me share the screen again. Okay, fine. So I have shared the screens. There may be some issues. First, tell me whether the PDF file is visible.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No,
No, sir.
Oh. And
Yes, sir.
Yes. देख रही हूँ.
Yes, sir.
okay, now Excel is visible.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Okay.
वीडियो बंद कर दीजिए.
Recording is going on. Please, everything is recorded right now. So be careful. Is the Microsoft team is visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So dear student, just wait. Someone is actually,
Right.
Stop sharing right now. Kindly unmute.